Hello, everybody. Good morning. Happy Friday. We have made it to the end of the week yet again, and we have also made it to a somewhat significant day on the calendar for the Seattle Seahawks. So today is Friday, July 17th, which is also the day by which all Seahawks rookies must report to training camp. July 17th is the day when they need to show up, so we should be expecting all the rookies at the VMAC today, and then the veterans should start leaking in over the next week, and they all need to be here by the 24th. So today is the day when the young guys come in and start trying to work to make sure they are as ahead of the game as possible, because they're obviously starting behind the 8 ball compared to a veteran. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. So let's talk a little bit about this, because training camp is obviously going to be the primary focus of late July and August. So training camp, generally speaking, in my experience, not a lot happens when the rookies are just there. Not a lot would happen that we hear about anyway. I'm sure there are things happening at the VMAC, but just to be clear and set expectations, I went back to last season and the season before. Near as I could tell, there really wasn't a lot going on during the rookie report time of the training camp calendar. So if you're expecting a bunch of news tidbits over the next few days, you might end up a little disappointed. Seems like the rookies only stuff is mostly behind closed doors, and we don't get to learn a lot about it. Maybe we'll get to pick up a little bit of information here and there, but in all likelihood, it's mostly going to be very generalized stuff, and it's going to be mostly generic positive stuff. So I don't know how much we can take away from what we hear, but if we do hear stuff, I will definitely pass it along. I'll definitely make videos about it, because what else are we going to talk about right now? But for whatever it's worth, the rookies are now here. So just to talk about the schedule a little bit, just in case anybody may have forgotten, like I said, the rookies need to show up today. The veterans show up by the 24th, and then training camp starts on the 25th. Now, I believe there are some days that are available to the general public, which is why you can buy tickets to the VMAC and go to training camp. And then there are some days that are closed off to the public. So, to my knowledge, there are going to be some other days beyond just what you see on screen here, with the 25th, 26th, 28th, 31st, and then August 1st, 4th, 5th, 7th, 8th, which is Football Fest, and then the 13th. So, pretty good spread if you do want to go to the VMAC this year. But I do believe there's going to be plenty of work beyond just these days as well. Maybe we'll get to hear information about those days, maybe not. We'll see. But definitely, I mean, this is something that I've done before. I haven't done it in a while. It's very difficult for me to get up to the VMAC, to be perfectly honest, but definitely something that I would recommend you do at least once. I've done it before, and it is fun. It is interesting. Some years, some days probably more interesting than others. But regardless, that is the schedule. So we are about a week out from actually getting some intriguing stuff to sink our teeth into. So little bit more of a wait, but understand that once training camp starts in full next week, it is off to the races. We don't stop until after the Super Bowl at that point. Things are just going to go and go and go until there's no more football to be played. If you like sports, then the best way to make them even better and more exciting is using the Prize Picks app, where it always feels good to be right. Prize Picks makes daily fantasy simple. Just pick more or less on your favorite players and build lineups with a few taps. Whatever sport you're into, and obviously we are now firmly into the NFL offseason, so we're all about baseball. We got some basketball, we got some hockey, whatever it is you like. Prize Picks gives you a fun way to stay locked in while you're watching. Definitely make sure to use the promo code HMA. Prize Picks is hooking up users with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. If you use that promo code, that is HMA. I've had a great time on Prize Picks so far, so definitely get on over to it, check it out, and make sure to get your lineups. And don't forget about Team Picks, where you can pick winners, spreads, and totals on any major game. So download the app now, use HMA, and get on over to Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. And remember, always gamble responsibly. So this is what we have to work with right now. We've got a bunch of rookies at training camp for the next week, and we may or may not hear much of anything about what they're actually getting up to. Again, there aren't a ton of players there, right? Because you have your 8 draft picks, and then you have your UDFAs, and then your rookie minicamp invites. Some of those guys might leak over, but remember, everybody who is present now has to have at least be on the 90-man roster. So there's not going to be a huge presence there, so it's not like they can do full scrimmages anyway. But what is the most interesting stuff about this rookie class for the Seahawks? I think Adam Schefter captures it pretty well in this tweet. Jadarian Price trying to replace or help replace Super Bowl MVP Ken Walker. That is ultimately the big money shot of this rookie class. You take a look at these rookies, there are plenty of players that I think we're excited about. Bud Clark, I think, is going to be a good starting safety for us at some point. Maybe this year, maybe next year. Julian Neal, I think, is going to be a really good corner in this system. I'm excited about Neal. Bo Stevens has some intriguing upside, and he could start this year potentially. It's not impossible. Maybe he starts next year. Between this year and next year, he probably will be given an opportunity to start. But none of those guys, I don't feel like any of those players are holding the fate of the 2026 Seattle Seahawks in their hands, right? Like Jadarian Price, in many ways, is holding this team's fate in his hands because him working out and having at least a decent rookie year is extremely important to this team having any chance of repeating as champs, because they are a run-first team, and if they don't have good running backs, it's hard to imagine anything working. So it's all about the Jadarian Price. That's where all our focus is going to be. But there's some other stuff going on here as well, like Emmanuel Henderson Jr. There is a competition for the 6th receiver spot on this team in my mind. You've got guys like Cody White, you've got Irv Charles, and then you've got Emmanuel Henderson Jr. Probably only one of those 3 guys can make the team. And it's probably going to be whoever we think will be better on special teams. And Henderson, by and large, was drafted because we thought he would be good on special teams. But then you trade for Irv Charles, who has been one of the best special teams gunners in football when healthy. So either we didn't like what Henderson was doing that much, we weren't that impressed, or we just saw an opportunity to get somebody who could be the best in the business. So Henderson Jr. needs to show some positive things over the next week, I would say, if he wants a realistic chance of making the team. Now, don't get me wrong, there's still going to be interesting stuff that we want to see from Andre Fuller, Michael Dansby, and Devin Eastern. Like, any rookie who wants to come in and show up and show good stuff and play well is certainly welcome to do so. But I think those are your 2 main focuses, Price and Henderson. I think that, in a manner of speaking, those are the 2 guys with the highest probability of making the team in a way that impacts the team significantly. Because Price is almost definitely going to be the starting back, and Henderson has a chance to be the primary gunner. And for this team, that's important. I know that sounds kind of like a joke, but it's really not. Whereas guys like, I talked about Clark and Neal and Stevens, but Fuller, Dansby, Eastern, they're not guys we're really going to be looking at as rookies unless disaster strikes this roster. Okay, so I think that's all we got. So rookies report today, and let's hope things go well. But again, probably going to be behind closed doors. More videos coming soon. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Welcome rookies to the VMAC.